What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and Magic the Gathering or Wizards of the Coast, they're at it again. And if you know me, then you know I have a complex history with the company. I used to have a channel with over 100,000 subscribers that was dedicated exclusively to Magic the Gathering. It was the second or third largest Magic the Gathering YouTube channel at the time in which I operated it. And once I started pushing back against some of the woke culture that Wizards of the Coast has, I got myself banned for life. Now, there were times when I was a bit too spicy, but it was clear to me that they were just looking for a reason to ban me. I can still play online. I can still play at my local card shop casually, and I can play with my friends and family. But ultimately, that was a big win for them. They got to stick it to the man because I made fun of them. And that's their right. But this company has been getting a ton of backlash, and they're tripping over themselves to apologize and erase history. But you know who doesn't do that? This video's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends will take you to the world of dark fantasy and realism. Available for mobile and PC. Use my links in the description below to download Raid yourself to your mobile phone or PC. Here's an interesting fact about Raid. It has 16 different factions. Orcs, dwarves, undead hordes, and many more. My personal favorite, the Corrupted. The Corrupted are evil. They have sided with or been created by the corruption emanating from the Dark Portal. These are the big bads, people like Dark Elves, Demon Spawn, Knights Revenant, Undead Hordes. You just feel super BA in this faction. There are also a ton of tournaments going on in the game. You can compete against the entire Raid community while fighting in the Spider's Den, Ice Golems, Peak, the Almighty Fire Knight, or the Notorious Dragon. And now you can compete in the brand new Arena Tournament, earn points according to your tier, and win awesome rewards in the local and global tournaments. You can find me under the nickname Colt's Dad, and I would love for you to follow the links in the description below. Go to the video description, click on the special links, and if you're a new player, you'll get 100,000 silver, 1 energy refill, 50 gems, and 1 free champion, the Executioner. Look at how cool the Executioner is, and you get it for free. You'll also find extra rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days. So follow the link in the description below or the pinned comment to give Raid Shadow Legends a try, and definitely add me in. I look forward to seeing you in game. Hey, I appreciate it. You know, sponsors are important, and I look forward to you adding me in game. I play it unironically, so I'd love to play with you in game. Now, there was a tweet that went out maybe last week, roughly, June 8th. Wizards of the Coast purports to be inclusive and diverse when in reality they have a long history of racially discriminatory behavior, avoiding accountability through a culture of secrecy and fear. They are unequivocally a racist company. Yikes. Yikes. You see Tulare Community College, the largest Magic the Gathering channel, super woke, saying, why are there no black artists of Magic cards? I don't know if that's fact or not. No black writers of Magic history. No black designers in R&D. No black upper management in WotC. This article by Zbeg is an important read. It discusses hard truths about corporate culture of our favorite game. And it's a very long read. And, you know, if you choose to, I think you can. I mean, I think this guy's story is valid, of course. They're talking about Jason Chan and a very, wide variety of other companies. We're inclusive. That just doesn't include you. The very next day after the Amaz Cube went up, they tweeted out a black square. And look, we have our Cedric and Rashad. An hour later, we found a third one. Yes, I know. He's called us out over our bad behavior, but he's black. We have 3 black friends, you guys. I'll guess if they talk to any of these people before exploiting them for tokenism, Wizards of the Coast is so proud of their diversity and inclusiveness, then they're so proud of themselves for their LGBTQ characters and their black characters and how they have a young black guy on coverage. So how could that possibly be bad? And it's so insulting to see them do things like go to Kaladesh and pat themselves on the back about how gosh darn diverse they are. All the navel gazing and look, we made a Sahili Rai, and look at all this company photo, and you realize the only people benefiting from this financially don't look like the people in these inclusive planes. They don't look like that at all. But still got to work in that 7-Eleven joke. Indian people own convenience stores, blah, blah, blah. Eric Froelich earnestly looking into support magic artists only to learn the reality of how few there are would be funny if it wasn't so sad. And the interesting thing is, Magic the Gathering has never really been a popular game with black folks. And I don't know why that is. If I ever see the only large communities of black kids that play games are usually Yu-Gi-Oh! That's if I go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament, I'll see that. But Magic the Gathering has just never been an interesting game to them. I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that they don't have black artists or that they don't have, enough inclusion. There's just something about the game that doesn't appeal to them. Something about the marketing, apparently. I don't know. But then, after getting called out, now Magic the Gathering is removing bad cards. Magic the Gathering removes evil cards from the game. Cards like Invoke Prejudice. Now, that is an old, spicy card from Legends. So this is a card that is more than 20 years old. And, I mean, honestly, the art itself fits the card. Back in 1994, Magic the Gathering printed Invoke Prejudice, a card that appeals to depict a horde of hooded clansmen. The card's action, which allows a player to counter creatures of a different mana color, which makes the implication even less subtle. Now the game's parent company, Wizards of the Coast, is removing the controversial card for good. A global rights activism brings this kind of behavior this imagery to forefront. Magic the Gathering is taking a hard look at its own history. Wizards of the Coast began removing 7 cards from play and from Gatherer in its official database. And you can actually see their statement here. Today we are changing the Multiverse ID and removing the Gatherer card images for the card Invoke Prejudice, originally printed in 1994. Yes, racism defeated. Thank you. The card is racist, and it even made it worse by Multiverse ID. It wasn't unfortunately codified within years ago. There's no place for this in our game, but to that point, it should have never been published nor placed in Gatherer, which is like their encyclopedia, and for that, we are sorry. The events in the past week and ongoing conversation about how we can better support people of color have caused us to examine ourselves. So they removed Invoke Prejudice, Cleanse, Stone-Throwing Devils, British Gypsies, Jihad, Imprison, and Crusade. Replacing the card images will be the following statement. Quote, we had to remove this card image from our database due to its evil depiction, text, or combination thereof. This type of behavior in any form is unacceptable and no place in our game nor anywhere else. Well, I mean, you took the money for the cards, obviously. That's good. Additionally, these cards will be banned in all sanctioned tournament play. Now, most of these cards are not played anyway, so whatever. But, a stunning and brave moment. So stunning and brave when we look at when they tweeted it out, this is on June 10th, they said, I disagree with some of the comments. I disagree with erasing the imagery entirely. It's more offensive to pretend it doesn't exist than to acknowledge it openly for what it is. The disclaimer is why something to include for the purpose of acknowledging why it's not acceptable. I mean, you look at these cards. I mean, yeah, it's kind of spicy. Cleanse seems... The only reason they got rid of this card is because it's destroy all black creatures. But it's referring to the color of the card, not the color of the creatures. This is like one of the most ridiculous overreaches, the most hypersensitivity. Stone-Throwing Devils? I don't know. What... You'd have to... Is this supposed to be what? It looks like black people? Is that why? I don't understand. British Gypsies, again, why? I mean, there are gypsies that actually look like that. I don't understand. And then you see a lot of it's a joke, and then you can see how they hide. Let's look at what they're hiding. Welp, You have eternally lost another player due to meaningless pandering. Good job, Watsy. Your cards take place in a fictitious fantasy world of many different races and beliefs. Anything is possible but racial bigotry now. After this, your product is only going downhill. Hid that. Why? That's just a normal pushback. Capitulations and apologies are nails in the coffin. Bye-bye. Hid that reply. So it's like they're hiding anybody calling out how this is pandering. People are taking me in, but they've blocked me. Let the U.S. Constitution burn. It was written by slave owners. Absolutely dumb. No one. Next one, I'm joking. I don't like what you're doing. Black and white Magic cards are only in colors. There's no race attached to this. These are only game mechanics. Lol, problematic. Gonna burn my collection like a peaceful BLM protester. Why the black creatures... Oh, ooh, yikes. That's a little spicy. Please review this card. If opponent does not match the color of you, that that jerk pays the cost. So Magic is into the demands of 2 to 3 crybabies who just look for trouble. I mean, I don't think there's anybody who had these cards in their collections that were like, okay, yes, this reinforces my worldview. Emit virtue signaling, clown fiesta. I mean, does this mean Teferi's? I mean, they're hiding more replies than they're actually leaving. But that's not what they want. They want the virtue. Why all of this is because they got called out by this person, Zaim Beg. I don't know who he is, but they got called out by him. And then we have Hipsters of the Coast, 10 steps Wizards of the Coast should take to address this bad behavior. Everybody's piling on because Wizards of the Coast, of course, panders to kind of the social justice minded people. So as this is what you get, you get a lot of free retreats once in a while, but then you also get this backlash. Improve the diversity of your company. Immediately hire an outside firm to assess the company's internal hiring practices. Commit to more equitable hiring practices. There isn't a company that is more inclusive in their hiring. They will openly discourage straight white males from applying there. There have been employees in the past that work for Wizards of the Coast that will say, that will literally come out and say, if you're white and male, don't apply. We're looking for LGBTQ members. They're our pet. We want them in our purse puppies. Create a safe space for BIPOC staff. Making companies safe for BIPOC. What is BIPOC? People of color? Okay. Is there a black person out there? Like, I know I don't have a huge black audience, but honestly, do you like being called a person of color? Is that what I'm supposed to call you when I see you? When I'm like, oh, it's my friend Dave. Which Dave? You got a couple of Dave. You got 2 Dave friends. Oh, the one that's a person of color. The one that has a melanated voice. What? What? Is that really what black folks, how they want people to refer to you, as a person of color? It sounds like a disease. Be a positive voice for the community. I mean, this is a company that does nothing but virtue signal. Nothing. This is just another hilarious, just the most ridiculous. At the same time, it's clear that Wizards of the Coast has been making multi-year effort to promote diverse representation. Today, Magic the Gathering features gay, lesbian, trans, and non-binary characters in its official canon. Hugh McMullen, former Wizards Director of Communication, told me in 2016 that it is important that the game offer representation to anyone who might play it. Look at the typical Magic set today, McMullen said. There are black characters. The world is inspired by Greek mythology. We spend a year on worlds inspired by Asian cultures. There are women warriors, women wizards, women sages, women goblins. Whoever you are, you can see yourself in the game. Responses on Twitter indicate that fans see Wizards' announcements as a step in the right direction, but point to the more glaring problem in Magic, a lack of diversity among the staff. The blog post hit at further progress at closing remark. There's so much more work to use. I think all the, people like Mark Rosewater, they should really step up and quit their jobs and give their jobs to a BIPOC. Tim Pool, the woke left has now become identical to the Christian right of the 90s. It's absolutely. I remember when this card was banned. Unholy Strength that had a pentagram. And then the church, I remember, criticized this, and they even had like an announcement in my church. So they had to reprint the car without the pentagram in it, right? Now they have this. Bad depictions in our card game, it's gone. I mean, it's really no different. It's absolutely hilarious that the level of pathetic pandering that the modern corporation has to do. We saw Starbucks yesterday bend the knee and today have to, I'm sorry, stand up and say no BLM pins, and then today they had to reverse course like everyone knew they would. I've got piles of unopened Magic products sitting right next to me, and now I've never been more ashamed to own it. Such a sad day for Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering. Good luck pleasing these people. It'll never happen. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.